and started understanding how networking is important because I think back then you already have a lot of network, you know, a lot of friends. Now I'm trying to understand how it's better to build up relations with people, and it's not just to learn or to ask for favors, but also to understand them on a personal front and maybe make new friends. And I think it's a very good platform. Started
Thank you,
understanding
Dinesh,
how
for
networking
making
is
this.
important because I think
Excellent. So yeah, welcome to everyone. We have a few new faces and a few, uh, I would say regulars in here, which is always
Yeah.
good to see. The regulars help, make the environment of this conversation easier, trying to gel everything. So we need a mix of both in every event. Otherwise, either people get used to talking to the same set of people, or the new if there are a lot of new people, which is what happens in my network walks, is the conversation get awkward. So thanks for coming back, Shika, Srikant, who else? Wasim, everyone else is new, I think. Sonali is also there. I've
Hey
known
guys.
Jay for a long time over here. Jay used to be a part of IPV, I think. That's how we got in touch, right? So I've been so others, please go ahead and introduce yourself. There is no set rules of how things will happen. So we'll spend 10 to 15 minutes just chit chatting, talking to each other, and then I'll pick up a few questions and I'll do the talking. So the first 10 minutes is free for all of you to brainstorm and see what's happening. One thing that I like today is most of them have the video on. I don't have to push anyone to turn on the video, which is good. So I think, yeah, the person who didn't have the video on just left the meeting, so that's fine. But that's what I say, be comfortable so that our the setup is all right. Last time, for example, when I set up this thing and I put it on Facebook, I did not have the audio recording. So it's important that you make sure that your voice, your video, your background, everything is good, because the future looks looks like everything will be virtual for at least for the next few months. Coffee catch-ups, interviews, conversations, everything will be online. So this would be a perfect time for you to practice as well. So yeah, go ahead. Introduce. I would prefer if the new guys introduce themselves so that they get a feeling. Or if you don't want to talk, yeah, it's open to anyone. Go for it.
Should I go like Dinesh here?
Yeah, go for it, Dinesh.
Hey, hi Dinesh. This is Dinesh.
Hi.
Like, I know you since 2018, I reckon.
Really?
Like you're hosting.
That's a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah. I was like, I just attended maybe when you started the network walk at the starting two days, maybe for second network walk, because it was behind my college. Like I studied at Latrobe University.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so on the Elizabeth Street near the Kathmandu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm a recent like I just completed 6 months back in project management. So yeah, right now I'm working in manufacturing industry. So yeah, that's it. Like
Yeah. Thanks for
I worked
joining,
in
Dinesh. Yeah.
yeah, I worked in like a big manufacturing industry maybe 6 months back. I got a like sort of internship. Yeah, so that's like my network was mostly about professional persons. Like I didn't had time to come and join network walk because it
Yeah.
was an odd time, maybe on Tuesday, 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so most in the city, but I worked in most of the village because I'm not from an IT background. So I was like mostly based in Dandenong. The most of the manufacturing industry are located over there. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's why I couldn't catch up
Yeah.
and meet
That's
new
all right.
people.
Well, this enabled this catch up as well. Thanks for the introduction, Dinesh. Others, please go for it. Just introduce yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Derek, and first time
Yeah.
joining,
Welcome. I
joining
mean,
yeah,
Hello.
yeah. Thanks for coming in. Yeah.
yeah, I'm a student at Monash University. I'm studying statistics and computer science. Um, yeah, I'm also looking for a job. Uh,
How's the situation been? I mean, how are you coping up right now? I know we are all stuck in the home, probably doing nothing. So, how has things been lately for you?
yeah, study wise is okay for me. Because I kind of like, I get to do things. I'm more concentrated now. I don't need to just go on the train. But job wise, yeah, it's not very good for me because a lot of things are shut down, and
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm just taking it one day at a time.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think that's the best way to take it. Thanks for your introduction. You said your name was Derek, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for joining in, Derek. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks.
Others, introduction. Ajinke, if you can turn on your video, that'd be great. Others, go for it, introduction. Or if the regulars want to introduce themselves, yeah, Devangini, go for it.
Yeah, hello everyone. This is Devangini Tandil here. So I'm working in IT industry. So I'm working as a software tester. I recently joined as a software tester in RMIT University. I'm just working part time, and I'm also working as a teacher's aide part time, and also tax consultant.
Yeah,
Just
that's
the
good.
house.
How's things been lately for you?
It's good. I'm just working from home, so
Okay.
just online.
That's good. Hi, Sanket. Thanks for joining in. You're on mute.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hi, Vinesh.
How are you?
I'm good, good. How are you?
Yeah,
Long
I'm good.
time.
Yeah. So so we're just introducing ourselves. Random people. Those who want to introduce, just go for it. So yeah, Ajinkya messaged that he's been trying to turn on his video. So as he said, this is like an experiment for you all to make sure the technology is all right, the sound is all right, there is not much background noise and stuff like that. Yeah. So who else would like to introduce himself? Go for it.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Hi, Rajesh.
Yeah, hi. I'm right now I'm in India.
Yeah.
So I am working
Welcome.
currently as a project engineer in L&D. So I came to know about this event through some of my friends in Australia. So I am planning to come to Australia in around another 6 months.
Yeah. Hopefully the international borders will be open and everything will settle down by then. But yeah, it's actually great to see people from India and people from outside Australia joining in, trying to prepare themselves on how things go over here. Because I think Srikant mentioned, the common mistake that most migrants and international students do is that they start the networking aspect once they come in. International students, they started after their studies and they're looking for a job, right? And migrants, mostly they started after coming here, after a few months of nothing happening. Everyone says network, but they tend to say, nah, I'm not going to do it. And in the end, they fall into it, unfortunately, right? So it's good that people take this challenge early on. And,
Not like not wanted to do, but didn't
yeah.
know that is the course you are
Yeah, I
right.
know. No one realizes what, I mean,
Yes.
everyone says network, and no one realizes what it actually means by networking. Unless you get into it, you won't get to know it as well. So we have probably time for one more introduction. Anyone go for it? Sanket, why don't you introduce yourself? I think you're new in this.
Okay. So I'll go ahead. Hi, everyone. I'm Sanket. I came here in July 2017 to do my master's degree in information systems, and I did it from Latrobe University. I graduated in September 2019, and currently I'm working as a business analyst at Wipro. I'm still going to office 2 or 3 days in a week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
because so we have a rotation roster and a rotation because some of the things we cannot do outside the office.
Okay.
And I'm staying in the same suburb. I stay in Q where my office is. So actually I'm helping one or two of my teammates so they don't come and I do some of their work from the office. Yeah.
Well, perks of living near our office, I would say.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a pro and con as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I get to walk to my office like it's 1 kilometer, so I feel that I can go outside the house, walk for a kilometer, and come back. Yeah, that's a good thing as well.
It's a pleasure. So I know Sanket before, so he used to be a part of my meetups and a lot of other stuff as well. So his story is also very interesting. If there are any international students out there, I highly recommend to get in touch with him. he got into a government organization being in a student visa. So the story that he shares is really interesting, as in, I think the month you came to know that government Wicroads or a public organization is hiring graduates, and then you applied, and within a month or two you got into a role. So his story is really interesting. So please get in touch with him if you are an international student and trying to see how to crack the market. He has been helping a lot of students as well.
Yeah.
So I think Dara joined recently. Welcome, Dara. So we were just introducing ourselves. There are a lot of new people, a lot of regulars as well. So this is how we do. We come here, we chat, and then we answer. I answer a few questions that you posted in the Google form. So those of you who don't know, in the meetup description, I have a link to a Google form where you can submit your questions, and I'll pick 2 to 3 questions and talk about it for the next 10-15 minutes or so. This is to make sure that we are all adding value to each other rather than having a, random chat conversation and just making a confusing bunch, so that's the reason I'm doing that. So the first question is by Israel. I don't think he is joined in this event, but nevertheless, I'll go with that question. Seems like the situation is getting better. How the job market will be after the situation settles down, and how do we need to be prepared to face for it? So this is something that I've been touching probably across all my conversations online. Is the situation getting better? Well, at least in Victoria, I think situation is getting better. I think New South Wales is a bit behind, but it's all over in Australia. It's way better than what's happening across the world. US, Europe, even in India, I think things are going worse. So it's a good thing that Australia is getting better. But even if things get better, I think there will be a definite lag in when the market bounces back, because the market has to open, people have to start going out, people have to get comfortable in the concept of going out, and there are a lot of factors to it. But it's very important that you stay on your toes every day, right? I used to say this as my favorite quote, but then someone corrected me recently. So the quote used to be like this: at the end of the shutdown, if you haven't learned any skill, it doesn't mean that it was time that you lacked, right? You always say, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. Any skill by that, it could be cooking, it could be painting, it could be writing an article, anything, right? So now is the time when you have time. So you have to make use of it. But there is another side to it as well. Most of them are suffering, struggling. Most of them are trying to get the ends meet, and just to survive, right? So for them, this probably won't be this would end up like a peer pressure thing. Hey, everyone is doing something, so I have to also do something. It shouldn't be like that. It should be like, first of all, you have to accept what's going on right now. Everyone is affected. People are getting laid off, people are losing their job, people are struggling to survive, people are even dying in most countries. So it's very important that we accept, hey, we are in trouble, but this is a situation where we are in. We need to be careful, we need to take care of ourselves, and we also have to make sure that we are utilizing our time properly. Okay. So that should be the first step. Then you should figure out on, hey, what can I do now, right? There are tons of things that you can do, and just sitting at home and watching news is a very bad thing. We discussed this in the past events as well. Do not overwatch news. It's not really good for you. And another thing that will happen when the market comes back is the workforce who have been laid off will be your competitors as well. So the competition will be high. And when it comes to that workforce, they don't have the struggles that most migrants and international students have. The struggles like visa, local experience, and stuff like that, they don't have it. So the competition is going to be way higher. So it's important that you are prepared for it. It's important that you have your tools polished. And by the tools, I mean your resume, your LinkedIn activity, your networking, joining these webinars, making new friends, talking to new people, upskilling. It includes everything, right? Doesn't mean that you have to do everything. No. focus on something that you really want to do and make sure that you are one step or even 2 steps ahead of what you actually wanted to be. That's very important. My next question, so this is by Srikanth. Srikanth is there in this event as well. So Srikanth says, in one of the events I watched, blah, 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 I noticed I noticed to reach out to the employer or hiring manager rather than the recruiter. How do we know the details of the employer? Say, for instance, I got a Seek LinkedIn post for an opening with the details of the recruiter. We will be having only that information and not the details of the hiring manager, right? Am I missing something here? Help to correct on this approach. So Srikanth, I'm sure that you heard that from Terry's Q&A session, because Terry is a big advocate for applying directly to employers. He doesn't encourage applying to recruiters, in fact. So that is what is unique about his philosophy, right? And he says, when you see a job on LinkedIn or on Seek, along with applying to the role, you have to contact the hiring manager, or you have to contact the internal whoever it is, right? And there are many ways to do it. One is if you know someone inside the organization. If you know someone inside the organization, they can look it up in their internal database and they can figure out who the actual hiring manager is. But for that, again, important, you have to know someone inside the industry. You have to know someone inside the organization, right? And that's when Terry's service is actually adding value to it, because he has connection in a lot of organizations. And if you want to apply for an organization, he will get in touch with you with one of their his clients. So that's one thing. Second thing is LinkedIn. If you have the job description, if you know the organization, you can search people who are in that organization, and you can kind of guess who the hiring manager is, or you can probably connect to someone working in the same team or same domain and get more information out of that. So these are the few activities that that can actually help you directly get in touch with the hiring manager, and this makes your job application way more effective. I mean, I've had situations where I applied for a role. This was when I was job searching. I applied for a role. The HR actually rejected it. I mean, after 2 or 3 weeks, I got an automated rejection saying, "Hey, you were not selected for this role." But then I had already sent an email to the hiring manager, and hiring manager had replied to my email. And then when I got rejected, I again sent an email to hiring manager, say, "Hey, I saw that this happened, but I'd like to keep in touch to see if there are any future opportunities." The next day, I got a call back from the HR saying the hiring manager wants to talk to me. And this is after the HR actually rejected the role. So things can happen that way as well, right? So that those are some ways how you can directly approach the hiring manager and have a conversation with them.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So next question, I think I had requested Wasim to put that question here, but I don't see that question. So Wasim's question, we had a conversation over LinkedIn, is he wasn't sure when a resume is used and when a cover letter is used. That is the question, right, Wasim? Just to clarify, you're on mute if you're yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the resume and cover letter has entirely different purpose to serve. First of all, yes, both of them are very important. Yes, you have to give equal priority to both of them. But you also have to realize that most of the recruiters that I've talked to, they say they do not care about the cover letter, right? So this is just, so the resume is always the first document that anyone watches. I'm muting someone. Okay. So the resume is always the most important document, right? And what should be in a resume? Again, that was one question by Wasim, as in I always say that the first 2/3 of your resume is the most important section, and that section should have a summary of who you are, what your skills are, and how your skills match that particular role, right? So that's also very important. So that 2/3 of the section should have, I'm getting some noise from someone. I don't know who it is. So if you're not talking, please mute it. So that 2/3 section, again, this comes to the perspective as in how a recruiter reads your resume. A recruiter doesn't have complete, okay. I think someone muted me.
Vinesh, you're on mute.
Yep, someone muted me. Yeah, that's all right. That happens. Coming back to the question, what does a recruiter look for in a resume? A recruiter has a JD, job description, and that's how he compares to the resume. The recruiter may or may not have in-depth knowledge of what the actual requirement is. He may or may not have what the technical terms in the job description are. May or may not. Okay, so his reference is a job description, and he matches your resume to the job description. And like Jonathan always says, if a recruiter is asking for a square, give him a square, not a rectangle. Don't say I'm a rectangle, but if you cut these skills, I'm a square as well. That's not what a recruiter wants to see. A recruiter wants a square, give him a square, right? And that information that you are a square should be in the first 2/3 of your resume. And now the recruiter is looking at your resume. He thinks, hey, you are a match for this profile, but I'd like to know more about the details. And then that's where a cover letter comes into picture. Then the recruiter will take a look at the cover letter, and whatever additional details you mentioned there, that's where that will make a better impact of your profile or your application. Does that answer your question, Vasim?
Yeah, Vinesh. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Vinesh. Sorry for interrupt.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, this is Dinesh. Like, I want to
Dinesh.
add up with the Wasim's questions. Like, I had a similar experience. To be honest, like, I'm not with the IT background, so I don't know how the the HR over there it works. Like, I'm from a mechanical background.
Yep.
So for us, my industry, it mostly works with the resume, because like the JD says, like, you should have ANSYS, yeah, maybe AutoCAD, yeah, SolidWorks sort of things. Just mention it on your CV. That's the main thing, because that's the main skills they are looking for, and immediately they will call you. Like, so don't waste too much words. Like, just have a bullet points. So as a graduate, I prefer, like, for a better understanding of the recruiter, like, you just put what the JD skills they're asking. So, like, on a right hand side of your resume, so easy to spot out. Like, to be honest, like, they don't take time on your resume to first go to second page, yeah, go to third page. Just like they have like thousands of resumes coming. So just like 2 seconds, 3 seconds they go. Just shoot the exact skills, because my experience, what happened, like, I applied for like 2-3 jobs. I just shoot the exact skill on the right hand side, top corner of the resume, and they immediately call me. And even sometimes I do, like, if they mention on the SIG their number, I just immediately call. Like, first I apply, and then I call them, like, hey man, like, I have this sort of skills, like, you're looking for this. Like, do you explain the role? Like, I would just want to know about the role more about specific. Yeah, do I consider exact for this role? I ask such type of questions for them. Like, yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So again, I'll always say this. In the end, there is a limitation in what a resume can do for you. In the end, it's just 2 pieces of paper.
Yeah.
Always add context to it. If you network a lot, if you know that person, then giving your resume, whatever format it is, doesn't matter. They will take a look at it. Always, to put it in a better way, you should be the driver of your job search, not your resume. Don't make a paper your driver of your job search, right? So that's very important. So resume is a secondary tool that actually tells who you are. But if you completely rely on that, your job search is going to be a really hard one. All right.
Hello.
Yep. Hi.
Hello. Yeah. Hi, Vinesh. Hello, everyone. I'm Bindal. I'm connecting here from India.
Hey,
Yeah,
another person
yeah,
from India. Good to see people from India joining in.
yeah, because we are planning to move to Australia shortly, so I thought
Yep,
it would be a good start.
yep.
So, like I've been trying to apply for jobs from Ahmedabad, and I just wanted to know what is the ideal size of resume. Like I've been making resume which are like 2 to 3 pages, so I don't know what is going wrong. Is that the ideal size? Is it okay, or
I w-
the format
I
there? Yeah.
I would say three. How many years experience do you have?
I have 11 years of experience in
So
telecom.
so I think 3 pages would be the sweet spot for you. Don't make it too short. 1 page resumes are a big
Okay,
no.
okay,
Anywhere over 4 pages is also a big no. Three is a good sweet spot for you where you can give ample information that is required for the role.
okay. Thank you
Yeah,
so much. Yeah,
yeah, no
thanks.
worries.
Yeah.
So we can probably take one more question. Do you have any questions? I'm now opening it all.
Again, Vinesh, reiterating on that, I said I'm a fresher, right? I haven't even graduated, so there wouldn't be much experience to write on the profile summary. So what content should go there?
You still have skills, right? People are
Okay,
looking for the skills. People are looking for what you can do, and
okay,
you have portrayed your skills in various platforms, be it some events that you organize, be it some projects that you did during your uni, or anything, right? So you always have skills, and as graduates, yes, everyone knows that there's not much you can give in your experience. Even your
hmm,
experience in your part-time role, do not elaborate it too much, but any relevant experience, for example, the way you manage something, or the way you brought together everything, or the way you managed a team. All these are important skills that people look for while hiring graduates as well. So these are the things that you have to highlight.
okay,
Just want to highlight if this is specifically for IT people.
Yeah.
So I graduates who hasn't joined or have a formal experience, there is something called GitHub. So the skills that you have learned, if you can add to your applications in GitHub and put a link to LinkedIn, the GitHub repository, that will speak huge volumes rather than your experience that you gain in companies. Okay, things like AWS, GCP, and the projects or even a demo projects or very short projects, utilities that you can develop. Add it to GitHub and ensure that link is mentioned in LinkedIn. So a lot of people without even a single small company or a big company experience, just with the skills that they displayed in the GitHub repository, get placed. So that's one easy thing. Like you don't need to look for job or anything. Just put your skills on GitHub.
So GitHub is equally, thanks for that excellent point, Jay. GitHub is equally important for anyone in the software industry. If you have some work that you can display, or if you can put it online, definitely use GitHub. I was surprised that my employer, actually, I was having a chat with my employer, the recruiter at my company, and she said that they hire most people based on their activity on GitHub and Stack Overflow. So these are the places that she actually looks for good developers, right? So these and the activity in these profiles or activity in these online platforms speak for themselves. If you're good there, that means you have good skills. You don't have to improve much on that, right? So that's very important to showcase your skills.
If I can add one more thing,
Yep.
your profile and your resumes should match.
Yep.
And the LinkedIn profile need to be as accurate as possible, including the location, contact details, everything. So as soon as someone gets a profile, they don't even look at the profile. They just pick the LinkedIn ID and look at what you have done, where you have worked before, and recommendations and people whom you have worked with. So I've seen a lot of people profile says .NET developer and LinkedIn says Java developer. So we don't even go anything further. So that's something people have to be very uh, specific about needs. People look at LinkedIn rather than your profile, to put it in simple terms.
Absolutely important. I mean, I can't reiterate the importance of having a consistent story. Say if your interview you are saying one story, if your resume has a different story, if your LinkedIn has a different story, you have lost trust of that person right away, and trust matters a lot over here. So make sure your resume, your LinkedIn, everything has a good story, a same consistent story. And that's why it is also important that you focus on a typical kind of role. Don't focus on software tester and software developer. You can't put that on LinkedIn in a good way as well, right? So that's important that your focus is also on a particular kind of role. And people like when you say, hey, I want to be this, rather than saying, I can be this, I can do this, I can do this as well. That's not what they want to hear. They want to hear, hey, I can do this. If you give me this job, I'll be good at this. That's what they want to hear.
Hi. Hello, Vinesh.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to add to Wasim's question. So being a graduate, I've been at the same place maybe 8 months back. So I want to give advices. One is apply as many graduate programs. Like every ending of the December, you'll get a lot of graduate programs. They hire for February, whatever the year, and even the June graduate programs. And always look widespread of Australia. Like don't specific location like Melbourne, maybe Sydney or something. You have a lot of graduates programs all over the Australia. You can go to Perth, you can go to Northern Territory. Like don't stick up to one place.
Yeah, good advice. Just gives you more options.
Even if I have
yep.
to ask something.
Yep.
You can complete with that.
No, I remember Jonathan mentioning yesterday that you throw 100 balls up, a few balls will fall in the basket. So if that's an approach you can take, go for that as well. Yep, go ahead, Maldi.
Yeah, thank you. I'm actually asking for some help. Thanks to Jay Raman for suggesting that GitHub thing, because I have done few projects while I was learning advanced JavaScript and put it over there and shared the link when I'm applying for jobs. So now I'm trying to learn React and Node. So I wanted to do some sample projects. So if there are IT people in here, can you suggest some website where they give sample projects so we can do it using whatever language I'm learning new? Is there anything like that?
Does anyone have any inputs? No? Good try, Maldi. Next time. Yeah. But if anyone comes to know about such a platform or such projects that they can pick up, please.
Yeah. Maldi, if you can PM me later.
Yeah.
I can connect you with someone or we can discuss.
Sure, Jairam. I'll do. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, one more question if I'm allowed, like.
Yeah,
Hello?
go for it, Mindal.
Yeah, like it is like one of us mentioned that there are programs for graduates. Like in India, we have certain companies that offer such kinds of programs for moms who are returning to work, especially designed for women. Like like Genpact has its Career 2 program, so which is specifically meant for returning moms. So like Genpact and IBM also has one of those programs. Do we have such programs in Australia, like offered by any of the companies? Because I am on a sabbatical for last 2 years, so maybe that will give me a platform to join. Like they offer 6 months internship and then they get you industry ready, and then then they give you the offer to join the company. So are there any programs in Australia which is hosted by any of the companies?
There are such programs, but I don't think it's very popular over here. There are companies I've heard NAB and ANC doing that.
Even Deloitte was doing.
Yeah. So Deloitte also does that, but I'm not sure how popular that is or how effective that is, because as you said, a 2-year gap is not actually a big gap. It's not considered as a big gap over here. So you can actually target actual roles as well. You don't have to target return to work kind of programs. You can actually target the real roles out there. Just that you have to make sure that you're up to date on what skills you are doing and stuff like that. And something that people do is they also just try internships. Again, this is not specific for return to work anyone, but in general, if they want to upskill on something, they also try to do internships, get into internships, and go ahead with that as well. So that's also something that you can try. But I
So
don't
that
think
also
2 year gap
experience.
should 2 year gap should be a problem at all. I don't think so. So as long as you tell a good story and you know what your skills are, that should be absolutely fine.
Okay, so this graduate or internship program are also like we can apply. Even experienced people can apply for this
Graduate
kinds of.
roles, no. Graduate roles can't be,
Okay.
you can't apply for graduate roles, but there would be internship roles and things like that. Again, you have to take a look at the requirement over there, and you have to say
Okay.
a good story as in why you are looking for an internship. Don't say that I'm not getting any work, so I want to do something and then I want to get an internship. No,
Okay.
you have to say that I really want to learn this technology, but I'm new to this, so I'm thinking, I'll slowly upskill and get my skills up to date. So that's a way you have to put it out across.
Okay. The
Avinash.
reason why, yeah, the reason why I'm exploring this options is also because I'm applying from India and I don't know when the flights will be operational and I can reach there, because we had our flights booked for 10th of April, but because of this COVID-19, it got cancelled. So that is the reason when I'm applying from here, it becomes a bit difficult, and that is the reason I'm exploring all the
Yeah.
opportunities.
So
So that is
right
the reason.
now it's actually really difficult. One thing is applying from overseas doesn't really work out in Australia. And second thing is the market is actually down over here. There's not much hiring happen. There is some hiring, but when there is hiring, they need people who can join right now, right? So that's something you can't do. So there is a lot of issues around there and what's happening right now. But I'm sure things will come back and get to normal or probably better than what we have right now. But in the meantime, it's very important that you talk to people, you network, you build or you make yourself visible. You make yourself known that hey, I'm here, so that when things come back, you have someone that you can approach and you can ask for help.
Thank you so
Avinash,
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to add with the graduate program. Yes, you can apply like if you have like because it has been experienced. I reckon you know about the big meet.
Sorry.
It's more big meet.
No. What's that about?
It's a big meet. It's like it happens in the crown of the Melbourne, like all crowns in Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, wherever. So it's like almost like 280 at 300 companies they come, and they advertise themselves and they give the graduate programs. Yes, you can apply like if you have like 10 years, 11 years, but it's very less like because I had an experience with Coles. You can apply, but you should have first thing you should have that citizenship, yeah, maybe PR. But very less graduate programs they offer for the international graduates.
Yep.
Like they accept very less.
PR
Like,
we are having, so we are moving on PR. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's. I'm just giving a whole idea about how graduate programs work, because I went to the big meet and a lot of other graduate, because I just recently graduated 6 months back. So yes, you can try them. Like you can ask, you can directly contact the recruiters, because every year they have the graduate program. Some programs they may have, like in Coles they have like a lot of like widespread of roles, so you can go and contact them. So these have this kind of skills, so you can definitely, like, here is more about like communication. The more you communicate, the more you get things. That's it.
Is it something like job fair, the so-called big meet?
Yeah, it's more about like they concentrate on the graduates. Yeah, but still you
Right.
can, like, as soon as you go, they ask you from which university you got graduated. But still you can go, you can apply. Like every year it happens. It's supposed to happen in March, but it got cancelled because of COVID.
There is an event called HackerX as well, but that I think is invite only. So you apply to be a part of it, and 7 to 8 companies come in a room, and you get a chance to have a conversation with them. If they like you, they'll hire you. Not immediately. They will proceed with your profile, and they will call for another interview. So that's also another platform that does things like that. But I think that's invite only. You have to be invited, or you have to apply, and they will call you and get through to it. Excellent.
I
That
personally
was
recommend Big Meet.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you get a lot of big companies over there, like all CUB,
Yep.
all Deloitte, every
Yep.
kind of every sector, mechanical,
Yep.
IT, mining, all kind of sectors. You can, like, some people, they need to have now 10 years experience. Still, they can apply as a graduate program, but you need to start from the starting. That's it.
Dinesh, may I know when is this event going to happen?
This is
Uh,
this is cancelled in March. Like every year in March it happens. Like in March it happens in Melbourne. So after 2 months it happens in Sydney. Maybe after, like, it keeps on going. You can search on the Google. Just type Big Meet, BIGMEET. I'll just post in the.
The one job fair I know it happens at Sydney Olympic Park every year, once every year during September or October.
Yeah,
okay.
I like, maybe that's, but this is a, like, this I came across through my university, so that's why I know.
All right, we had a good conversation. A lot of interesting inputs from Dinesh, Jay, and others as well. Hope it added value to all of you over here. So the idea of this event is this: get together, talk to people, just rather than just sitting at home and talking to no one, which is very important right now, to make sure that we get out and talk to people and make sure that we still have that connection. Otherwise we lose the humanity out of us, right? One request out of it, if everyone can keep their video on and have a smile, I'll probably try to take a smiling selfie out of it.
Sure.
Okay.
Gauri, Devangni, and someone else who I think who is S. Sonali, if you can keep your video on and give us a smile, that would be great. Yeah, Devangni is back. Sonali, do you want to try? No? Okay, no worries. So I'll take a screenshot at 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, got it. Thank you. Yesterday, the screenshot thing did not work. We were kicked out of Zoom by the time. I don't know who was. Maldi was a part of it, I think, right?
I just saw the way you said 1, 2, 3, it went off.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and Zoom kicked us out instead of taking us a selfie. But that's all right. Thanks again to all of you for being a part of this. I'm looking forward to seeing you all again. I'm sure that I'll see Maldi and Srikanth at least on this. We missed Harish today. He is also usually a regular, but I'll see you next. This happens every Tuesday and Saturday, by the way. Idea is same. You come, we have a chat. If you have any questions, we have a conversation over there, and we keep on doing this. Thank you.
I'll mostly see you on next Saturday.